Things plus-size travelers hate Part 4. Struggling to find plus-size friendly accommodation. The fat tax of having to pay more for everything. Having to do hours of research before travel. Struggling to find plus-size friendly rental cars. The lack of plus-size friendly seating at restaurants. Struggling to find cute plus-size travel clothing. Not knowing if the locals are rude to fat people. Having to share an Uber and being physically uncomfortable. Inaccessible bathrooms that aren't plus-size friendly. Uncomfortable seating everywhere.
Go on a date, you fat.
When everything in your life becomes a massive inconvenience because you're so huge, like the young lady we just heard from, mostly due to bad decision-making and lack of self-control, maybe, just maybe, it's time to tighten up. Maybe change your eating habits and start some kind of exercise routine. Just saying. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy weekend Clown World update for you guys today. And as usual, we have very little time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So this fella here wearing the woman's blouse is Jan. Now, Jan is a biological man who identifies as a trans woman, calls himself a transbian, which we all know by now is a trans lesbian. Now, Jan does use lesbian dating apps and women's restrooms. What?
What a f***ing loser.
All right, let's keep this party rolling with everybody's second favorite paid establishment shill, Harry's boyfriend, Chris. Now, it would appear that the DNC talking points have gone out to all their paid shills. It is no evidence, no evidence, no evidence. Don't believe your lying eyes and ears. No evidence, roll it.
Massive breaking news. Hunter Biden is, in fact, Joe Biden's son. Listen, as Republicans try to distract from the fact that their nominee has 91 felonies and he was found liable for abusing women and found liable for fraud, there's things that Americans actually need help with. You know, Democrats have invested tons of money into infrastructure. They just announced $8.2 billion to build a high-speed railway across the United States. They've invested tons of money into climate change, almost $1 trillion. They're focused on passing gun reform. They've created 14 million jobs. Unemployment is at a 54-year low, and Republicans aren't really doing anything to help you. They're focused on weird attacks on the president's son that, yeah, he didn't pay his taxes and he got charged for that, but that's about it. Doesn't relate to Joe Biden, doesn't relate to anybody else. And Hunter Biden showed up today to Congress to testify publicly. And all of a sudden, Republicans don't want him to testify publicly. They want him to testify behind closed doors. Hypothetically, because they want to be able to cherry pick quotes that Hunter Biden uses and release them to the public to make it look like, you know, the evidence is on their side. But just remember, the evidence is not on Republicans' side. Even multiple Republicans, Fox News hosts, have said, you know, there's just no evidence here. And with the Hunter Biden news today, we saw an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden with multiple Republicans coming forward saying, I don't understand what this is. There's no evidence. So they'll distract from the fact that their guy is a felon, and Democrats, I assume, will continue focusing on actually helping Americans.
Who the do you think you are, you crazy little
All right, next up we have famous Hollywood actor Will Ferrell, who in this viral clip claims he wants women to run the planet. And on a side note, Will Ferrell is a huge fan of Stacey Abrams, who to this day still claims the Georgia governor race a few years ago was stolen from her. Roll it.
Forget about the entertainment world. Isn't it just time? Isn't it just time for women to run the planet? I'm not just trying to placate you, I swear. But I don't know what else to do, because we, men, we've been running the show since what, 10,000 BC, something like that? And we're not doing so good. So please, can you guys just take over?
That's the dumbest thing you could have said. What are you, an idiot?
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're enjoying the videos, you like the content, you want to help support the channel, and you want to piss off some libs like the young lad Chris or Will Ferrell, grabbing one of these t-shirts is a great way to do it. Now, I have dropped the prices on all the t-shirts pretty substantially, so If you wanted a t-shirt in the past but thought they were a little too pricey, or if you still need to grab a holiday gift for one of your liberal friends or family members, now is the perfect time to do it. We have this Revenge Tour 2024 mugshot t-shirt, and I also have some other very cool designs you can check out as well.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, next up. So this is probably the craziest clip we're going to see today. Now, this person who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman wants to throw his voice into the conversation when it comes to talking about periods. Huh? Roll it.
Everything all rolled into one. It's all the symptoms, the digestive stuff, the emotional symptoms, all of that rolled into one. That is what is colloquially called a period, because period is not a technical term. But furthermore, just to insinuate that trans women calling what we experience through our hormonal cycle a period is somehow taking away from other people who menstruate and their experiences. It just does not track, because no person who is on estrogen and is having these symptoms of a period is coming to the table and saying, "Oh, we have it so bad. We have it way worse than you. Da 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 da. We're more important." We're just coming to the table and we're saying, "Hey, we experience this too, and it sucks. And we would like to add our voice to the conversation around period justice, around getting people who menstruate time off at work, lowering the prices of menstrual products." But yeah, so we're coming to the table in this conversation as allies, not as opponents. And I see this kind of TERF rhetoric as very non-productive in itself. This could be used as a huge moment of solidarity between trans people and cis people, and everybody who menstruates, who all go through this and experience the symptoms associated with the period.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You are a f***ing idiot.
Now, I have no idea why that young fella is worried about the price of menstrual products, but what I've been saying all along with these people, the cramping, too many Bud Lights and Tarcos the night before, obviously. Anyway, next up, so this is what happens when intersectionality and identity politics gets pumped down someone's throat constantly. This fella talks a lot without saying much of anything, just a bunch of buzzwords. Roll it.
Everything I say about gender is influenced by my whiteness, which is obvious, but there's an interesting second part to this. The rejections of gender and gender roles that I create and embody will still come from my whiteness, those acceptable to my constructions of self as a white person. I will likely uphold and encourage white beauty standards and see and more immediately accept other white rejections of gender. Essentially, even the most critical analysis of gender I have will still be white, and white gender rejection can and does uphold whiteness and white supremacy. Queer appropriation of African American vernacular English is one example of this, as is mainstream exclusion of fashion excellence in black representations of masculinity, while celebrating white men for having basic hygiene as if they're revolutionaries. Of course, that's not to say we can't attempt to take in other viewpoints, but it's still going to be a fundamentally white perspective. Even this is a white perspective. It's literally the only one I can give you. So if you want to learn how other people construct and deconstruct gender, you need to learn it from someone who doesn't look like me.
Don't you get wacky on me. What the f*** are we talking about here?
Hey guys, real quick, we don't have any sponsors for today's video. If you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you.
You look ridiculous.
All right, next up. So this person who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman doesn't think people can tell? Okay, whatever. Roll it.
I could tell you were trans from a mile away. No, you couldn't. I've been working at a sports bar for over 2 years, and not once have I ever been clocked. I've been asked out countless times, and I've had to tell those individuals that I'm trans countless times, and usually does not end well, but that's what you get at a sports bar. But anyways, no, you could not tell I was trans. What you could do was find a video of mine, find me really attractive, and do what creepy boys do and go and stalk that woman's page. But when you went to stalk my page, you found out I was trans. And then rather than sit there and ask yourself simple questions, you jumped to little baby boy anger and decided to attack me and make it seem like you could tell the whole time, because that's the only way that you can cope with your own sexuality.
This sounds very gay.
So here we have a little report from the land down under, Australia, where they are no longer going to be saying Merry Christmas anymore. They're going to say, Make Merry. Make Merry what? Roll it.
So apparently we're not saying Merry Christmas anymore because it's not inclusive. We're saying Make Merry. This is such a joke. The local council area of Stonington in Melbourne have decided to replace or Merry Christmas or any reference to Christmas with these Make Merry signs. I don't even know what Make Merry means. It doesn't even make sense grammatically or in the English language. You can't just put two words together and hope it makes a sentence, because it doesn't. It's like they're really trying to allude to like Merry Christmas, but they don't want to step on anyone's toes, so they're now saying something that makes absolutely no sense. These local councils, I swear, they're trying to erase Australia Day, they're erasing Christmas. I mean, what else do we have left? They just want us all to be miserable and celebrate nothing.
What did you say? What the did you just say?
So apparently we're not saying Merry Christmas anymore because it's not inclusive. We're saying Make Merry.
That is the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Jesus Christ.
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip of these young gentlemen who do these man on the street interviews where they go around asking people what their pronouns are. So they ask these two different young ladies what their pronouns are, and the hilarity ensues. Anyway, things are clearly getting crazy out there, guys, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time. Love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
I'm playing around with different gender identities and different pronouns until I figure out exactly which one.
And so some days you feel like a what, and some days you feel like a what?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Some days I feel she, her. Other days, like today, I'm feeling more no gender.
Wow. What are your pronouns?
I go by any pronouns. I'm gender fluid.
Really? Is that what that definition is, gender fluid?
Sort of. It's like you feel like one gender one day, maybe another the next.
You know, a long time ago, being crazy meant something. Nowadays, everybody's crazy.
And you ain't black.